I'm here to talk about today, we have experts in this room, we have experts around the world that have come together to put medicine, science, nutrition, dietetics, and different forms of recovery and healing together. It's fragmented right now, like we saw what Dr. Shashank Joshi spoke about yesterday, and Dr. Mohan. It's fragmented. We have great science, we know the problem, we know what we should do. But how do we get it across 1 billion people in our country? How do we make it easy? How do we make it economical? How do we make it feasible? It's not just the less privileged people in our country who suffer from this lack of knowledge and action. It's also urban India. How many of you have patients who are in the HNI category, or the ultra HNI category, which is high net worth individuals? Most people are affluent, they have a lot of money, and they have the same lifestyle diseases that we expect that the less privileged people should have. So what is the difference? What is the change that is required? What we go through today is a masterclass. I wish I could put all the information in this slide, but I suggest that you'll make a lot of notes and go back and further build your knowledge on it. All right? We start off with this beautiful saying: there is folly and arrogance in thinking what we don't know is not worth knowing. This is one of the biggest gaps in our education system, whether it's medicine, nutrition, dietetics, alternative medicine, MBA, leadership, management, whatever. We think that what we know is only right. But the arrogance is in thinking that it's everything. It's not everything. We are learning every single day. And why should we learn every single day? Because disease is changing. Genetics are changing. The environment is changing. Food quality is changing. Water quality is changing. Human behavior and emotions is changing. You can see all that change happening. How then can we stick with the textbook knowledge as the only primary source of education? That's what we feel. I am all for textbook knowledge. I am all for qualification. But the point is, it never stops. We have to think. That's our foundation. Now how do we go on building more and more? Because the science and research 10 years ago is very different from today, and it will be different 1 week later. So we need to keep learning all the time. Can integrative lifestyle medicine help with the prevention and recovery of prediabetes and diabetes? Absolutely yes. It's not always a replacement, but it can be a bridge. It's not meant to replace conventional medicine. Like Dr. Mohan said, there is a phenotype that will require medication. Out of 100% of the lifestyle disorders, 100% of the cancers, 4 to 5% of them are highly genetic. No matter how fit you are, how healthy you are, those genes have the possibility of expressing into a cancer or a disease. 4 to 5%. What about the other 95%? In India, it's a habit to say, oh, it's hereditary in my family. My mom had it, my dad had it, everyone. Okay, let's talk about how hereditary it is. What bad lifestyle changes have you also inherited from your parents and everyone else? And what if that changed? What about epigenetics? What is epigenetics? There's no magic in it. Epigenetics means that even genes can upregulate and downregulate based on internal environment and external environment. Pollution in Mumbai right now is changing the way our genes upregulate and downregulate. Whether you're a runner, you do yoga, or you're sedentary. I can upregulate a gene that is not meant to be upregulated. And I can downregulate a gene which is meant to be active. All of this is not just your nutrition alone. It's not medicine. It's your overall lifestyle. Anything that impacts external environment around you and your internal environment, they're talking to each other, will impact how your genes work. I'm not going to go through numbers. We saw enough of numbers yesterday. We know India is the diabetic capital of the world. Are we proud of that? No. What are we going to do to change it? We may have a population of 1 billion, but I always believe change starts 1% at a time. If anyone in this room has pre-diabetes or diabetes, what are you going to do to change it first? And then take your knowledge and inspire the next and the next and the next. Walk the talk. You have knowledge, you need action. Alright, so these are the numbers. We're not going to go through that right now because I want to spend my time in getting the basics and fundamentals right. Insulin resistance. We talk about diabetes, we talk about a HOMA IR, we talk about all the tests. Let's understand what insulin resistance is. It's when your cells do not respond properly to insulin. So the pancreas will now start to increase your insulin production. Now you have elevated insulin in your blood, the possible onset of type 2 diabetes. Simple. Get this clear. Non-debatable. This is how it works. Now we'll also find out, is food the only thing that can influence this? Or is it everything else? That's what we're going to get into. Okay? Understand the basics always. Secondly, metabolic syndrome. What is metabolic syndrome? A lot of people don't talk about this. When you identify, in lifestyle medicine, you identify root causes. You have symptoms. Your clinical doctors, your physicians will handle the symptoms. And that's why there's always integrated medicine. It's not one over the other. If you're looking at a preventive model, it could be that way. So you're looking at the symptoms, get your symptoms treated. Because if you have a high blood sugar level, your HbA1c is high, you may say, Luke, I'm ready to be motivated. I'm motivated. I don't want medicine. No, I'm sorry. You will still need medicine as a crutch. Because by the time you bring it down with lifestyle, there is always already damage happening to your cells in the human body called inflammation. So I can use medicine as a crutch, and I can change my lifestyle. Now, the combination of both will cause your HbA1c, your impaired fasting glucose, your impaired glucose tolerance to start getting better rapidly. Your doctor is going to lower your dosage. It is. It's going to happen automatically. So this is not a choice. This is how it works. What is metabolic syndrome? These are the questions you check in with your patients and yourself. Abdominal obesity. Number one, elevated triglycerides. Forget about total cholesterol. That's for the doctors. We look at a ratio between triglycerides and your HDL, which is also called the good cholesterol, the scavengers. You have your bad cholesterol, the HDL comes and scavenges it away. I have low high-density lipoprotein, which is your HDL, and you have high blood pressure, and you have high fasting glucose. If you have a patient who has all of these things, they have something called metabolic syndrome. This is a precursor of every other possible inflammatory condition. Whether it's a stroke, it's paralysis, it's a cardiac arrest, it's a heart attack, it's cognitive brain decline, it's Alzheimer's later, it's dementia. Everything is correlated with metabolic syndrome. Most people today are metabolically unfit. What does this mean? Look at the Indian population. How many people can you already put in this category of metabolic syndrome? The beauty is, the solution is uniform towards all of these things. If I get the foundations right, and I start to apply all of these parameters, can slowly start to get better. In the conventional model of medicine, you'll be on a diabetic drug, you'll be on a high blood pressure drug, you'll be on a statin. Okay, I'm not against medicine. It comes with its set of side effects and secondary conditions. So my problem is, what is the intention to put lifestyle with medicine? Or if you're in the pre-stage, I don't even need medicine. Like Dr. Mohan and Dr. Shashank said, in the pre-stage, if I'm able to catch it soon, I don't need medication at that point. And that's the goal. The goal is try not to get there. Try not to get there. We need hospitals. Hospitals save lives. But it doesn't mean we don't set an intention not to get into the hospital. What are the tools we can use as prevention not to get into the hospital? I want you to look at this slide. It's the most simplest definition of inflammation in the body. Inflammation is not a bad word. We need inflammation. It's part of your immune system. Okay, I'm going to simplify. Take a screenshot of this, go back and study everything in detail. All right. If I have an allergen, a pathogen, a germ, a virus, tissue injury, a microbe, it creates acute inflammation. My immune system sparks inflammation that can bring a complete resolution. It can form an abscess or scar if it's a cut wound, or it can cause chronic inflammation, which means your immune system turns on inflammation, but it doesn't know when to switch it off. Why does this happen? I want you to go and focus on above complete resolution, glycoxins, resolvins, and protectins. These are the food groups that prevent chronic inflammation and support my immune system to do the right thing at the right time. When does the scar stop growing? When does the inflammation reduce? When does angiogenesis knows when to stop? Angiogenesis, which is the health of your blood vessels. Okay, we're going to come into that. That's part of your nutrition that you're going to learn today. It's not just about carbohydrates, proteins, macros, and micros. It's about understanding how do I get resolvins, protectins, and lipoxins in my body to increase So they fight its role when our immune system is kicked into action. We'll come back today. Inflammation contributes to insulin resistance and further aggravates glucose metabolism. We all know that. Inflammation. You have chronic inflammation, you have a problem. Impaired angiogenesis. I can talk for hours on angiogenesis. What is angiogenesis? From the time you were an egg, what grew you? A collection of millions and millions of blood vessels. Your eye is a collection of blood vessels. Your nose, your hair, millions of blood vessels. They know when to stop growing. Okay, now your eye is complete, it stops. 5 fingers, it stops. Sometimes you see a person with a 6th finger. Angiogenesis didn't know when to stop. Or you have a part of your body that's a little abnormal. Angiogenesis. In cancer, what feeds the tumors? Uncontrolled angiogenesis. Which is why certain drugs like Avastin are made to reduce angiogenesis so that the tumor growth is small. Angiogenesis is everything. For a diabetic leg, when you've got to amputate the leg or the hand, it's an absence of angiogenesis. Your blood vessels cannot grow to support healing. And that's why you've got to amputate. There's no growth that can happen anymore. Impaired angiogenesis. Okay, because it affects the endocrine islet and adipose tissue function. These are the basics that we need to know. Because now when you're making a nutrition plan or a lifestyle plan, it's no longer just about your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. What are some of the gaps that we see today? Recognize gaps. These are not gaps to bring on a system. Clinical practice and research programs focus on medication with less emphasis on lifestyle medicine. It's my dream one day, that Prime Minister Modi passes a rule that every doctor prescribes medicine and also tells the patient, change your lifestyle. Medicine alone will not help you. It's my dream that that happens one day. And the same thing, with health professionals telling people, wisely, don't stop your medication unless your doctor's in the loop. Because you have no idea how many people have aggravated disease because they stopped their medication at the wrong time. Okay, several studies indicate 30 to 40% of physicians counsel patients on lifestyle practices. That's the whole objective of LSI, to help people and empower doctors and health professionals to prescribe lifestyle. Okay, the rest I'm sure you already read through. Why integrative and lifestyle medicine? Why is it the way forward? While conventional medicine effectively addresses the immediate symptoms, which is right, it can save your life, you need to address the root cause of the problem. Why do I have diabetes? There's a ton of drugs. Why do I have it? Why do I have pre-diabetes? Why do I have insulin resistance? There are 4 pillars of integrative and lifestyle medicine, actually 5 of them. Cellular nutrition. This nutrition is way beyond what we learn alone. This nutrition revolves around angiogenesis, DNA repair, stem cell regeneration, the immune system, inflammation, and the gut microbiome. That is why it's called cellular nutrition. It is not Google studied nutrition that, hey, this food is great for cognitive health, let's put it in the plan. No, everything works together. Your smart exercise. Why do I say smart? Everyone's different. Everyone needs different forms of movement and exercise. We have quality sleep. And you're going to be stunned to see today the impact of sleep deprivation on pre-diabetes and diabetes. And then you have emotional wellness. The 5th pillar is the spirit. It's you. How do you feel about yourself? You're always angry, you're sad, complaining, blaming, the poor attitude. All of these pillars go wrong. When you're complaining, how many of you crave great food? No, you want junk food. Right? When you're sad, you're not happy with yourself, you're constantly negative self-talk about your body, your self-rejection. That's the spirit. When we're aligned with our spirit, human health works for us. When we're misaligned with our spirit, our own bodies start to work against us. This is one of the most important points I want you to know today. What is bio-individuality? Everyone is different. You cannot say that everyone should be low carb. You cannot say everyone should be fat efficient. You cannot say that weight training will suit everyone. You cannot say 8 hours of sleep is recommended for everyone. Everyone is different. The problem in the world is we're trying to put nutrition and medicine in a bucket today. This symptom, this disease, hey, we can download or get an AI-generated diet plan. But it doesn't take into account the diagnostic questions that you need to be asking your patient. Everyone is different. Everyone knows great foods for great hair, don't we? How come everyone doesn't have great hair? Everyone knows the fat-burning foods that is called on Google. How come fat is still a problem in our country? Everyone knows the protein sources. Why is there a protein gap in our country? Because some people try to increase their protein, but they have other problems. Because everyone is different. Everyone is unique. And that's why medicine and nutrition and dietetics will always assume a personalized and a customized model for the patient. We can give guidelines. We can give broad macros. But then you need to go into the detail because everyone is different at every stage of their life. Like Dr. Mohan said, obviously your HbA1c is going to be higher as you age. It's normal. Our cells, everything, there's wear and tear in the body. So your nutrition today, will it be the same when you're 60 years old? Will your exercise be the same? Will your quality of sleep be the same? It will change because you are changing. Let's jump straight to cellular nutrition. It is not about low carb or high carb, it's about smart carb. Dr. Mohan spoke about even a 10% drop in carbohydrates. And now, if I have a more obese patient, it could be 15, maybe 20. The fear of decreasing carbohydrates is, oh, I'll be tired, I'll be lethargic. But that's because we've not upped the other two macros, which are your good fats and your proteins. So carbs, low carb, smart carb, plays a huge role in metabolic syndrome. Uric acid, cardiac problems, brain problems, diabetes, pre-diabetes prevention, because we are eating too many carbs. Now you go back and say, hey, look, but our ancestors ate so many carbs. They did, and they were healthier. They were, and they worked a lot more than you and I. In my village in Goa, there's a person who works in the field, a guy, he digs holes and plants trees and stuff. He is ripped, probably fat percentage of 9, ripped. His wife is super toned, like a supermodel. Okay? I said, let me study their lives. What do they eat? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2 cups of tea with sugar, high carb, high carb, high carb. Their only protein comes from dal, which is of course not a protein, but it's got protein, and beans, rajma. How do they maintain such a ripped body? It's compensated with their physical activity. So if I have a decent amount of carbohydrates in my diet, but I'm burning my expenditure, calories in, calories out. I'm not a fan of calculating calories, but when you have a disease, you need to. The point is, it's simple. Do you think athletes are on a low-carb diet? They're not. They're on a high-carb diet, but look at their physical activity. So we cannot say low-carb suits everyone. A marathon runner who comes to me with fantastic training will be on smart carb, not low carb. You go too low on carb, what's going to happen? Your mood, why? Testosterone gets affected. Estrogen gets affected. It implies that your mood, now you're cranky, now you're hungry. And you see, you deprive yourself by doing fads. But it's got to be smart. Let's talk about smart protein. Is the answer really high protein? Most people in our country can't even absorb protein because we have a bigger problem, low stomach acid. We think there's acidity in our country and it's because of high stomach acid. But the main cause, because the symptoms are the same, is low stomach acid. If I'm consuming a high-protein diet with less stomach acid, what's going to happen? What breaks down protein into amino acids? HCl, stomach acid. Can I do it if I have less stomach acid? What's going to happen to that protein? Is it going to serve my body at a cellular level? Absolutely not. I'm going to get bloated, I'm going to have all those issues, and I'm not going to put on muscle mass. I'm not going to put on lean mass. So when people come to you on high protein and they don't have that kind of mass, you want to get into their gut, their stomach, their symptoms, their stomach acid. So you see, everything is interrelated, and smart fats. Smart fasting. Okay? We've learned this from our country, from Jainism. Last meal by sunset, break your fast 12 hours later. I can guarantee you anyone who tries this will solve gut problems, sleep problems, blood sugar levels, and IFG, intolerant fasting glucose, which is still a problem. You will automatically sort that out. Let's be practical. Maybe not sunset, but at least close to sunset. Maybe 7, maybe 8. What's the average time that people in India eat? 10? 11. What do you think that's going to do with your impaired fasting glucose levels in the morning after a 10-hour fast? Is it going to have an impact? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. There's no medicine for that. There is only a lifestyle change that you can do. Dangers of drunken process, we're just going to go through that point. You know it already. Eating slowly and chewing mindfully. There's magic in it. You all know. What does our saliva contain? Amylase, lipase. Digestion of carbohydrates starts in the mouth. In the mouth, preparing your stomach with the right acids for further digestion. So if you're eating fast, you already get indigestion, you eat more, and check your blood sugar levels for 2 hours after that meal. It is going to be way, way different than someone who has chewed their food and eaten slower. A balanced and diverse gut microbiome Doctor explained beautifully on her subject on gut yesterday. We're not going to get into that. Focus on nutrient-based diet of vitamins and minerals. Most of our diets today are not nutrient-dense. You know, small compounds in our food, flavonoids, polyphenols that you find are supportive to your blood sugar levels in so many ways. Your food's rich in chromium. You know what you get that in? Vinegars. In our country, everyone follows social media. Is apple cider a myth? Is apple cider not a myth? But guess what? Are you searching for the science? Apple cider vinegar or jamun vinegar, which is local to our country, plays a huge role in metabolic health. It will bring down blood sugar levels post meals immediately. And let me explain that. Everything is based on explanation. So we're looking at a couple of foods. We have apple cider vinegar, which is also in a way local because we have apples that grow in our country. Apples grow in our country, naturally. And we have jamun vinegar as well. Resolvents, protectants, and lipoxins, your omega-3s, your nuts, your seeds, your fruits, your flax seeds, your seafood, fatty fish, peanuts. You know how deficient we are in omega-3 as a country, our children, as well as our adults. I don't have the right amount of resolvents, protectants, and lipoxins. How is my immune system going to support cellular health? Forget about viruses. The human body has an intelligence to heal automatically. All we're trying to do is support the healing by giving it what it needs. And other foods, your fenugreek, your bottle gourd, and all of that, you can just take a picture, that's fine. What is the diet concept? Anyone getting on a diet, or when you prepare a diet, number one, it's got to be personalized and bio-individual. Number two, sustainable. If it's a fad diet, the results are going to be non-sustainable. Number three, practical and smart. People should be able to do it. They should want to do it because it's easy. Harm-free. Everything that you do, is this causing harm to your patient? Number four, science-based, obviously. I don't want to Google, collagen's great for my skin, let's put it in the diet, but your patient is sleep deprived. Collagen is not going to work. And it should be joyful and not psychologically depressing. So half the people in society go, I'm going to die. I want to die. Be happy, you're changing your health. But a diet is not psychologically joyful for them. When you're sad in the mind, do you think the physical body is going to work? It is our job as nutritionists and dietitians to incorporate all these ideals in our plans when we go forward. Let's move straight into exercise. You know that sitting in the new, smoking, all of that, walking, all of that stuff. Yoga is great. I want to spend more time on muscle. Now again, there's a misconception in our country. People think gym, trainer, protein, big muscle, steroids. Change your mindset. That's not everyone. That's not everyone. You don't have to go to a gym to build muscle. If you hold an asana right now, any asana, for 2, 3, 4 minutes, your body's going to start shaking. Why? Your muscle and your core is engaging to hold the asana. You are training muscle. Of course, you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to put on buff, you go to the gym because you need progressive overload of weight. I can do 50 push-ups. After a while, it's too easy. I may want to bench press because in the gym I can go to 100 kilos. Personal goals. But break the myth of gym being negative. Break the myth in your mind right now. That is your mindset. You read a few articles on someone who died in the gym and suddenly a gym's become the wrong place to go to. You don't know how many people in our own city work out in the gym and drink heavily at night, are sleep deprived, are on anabolics, substances, and vaping. Now you tell me, is it the gym that killed them or lifestyle? Otherwise, everyone going to the gym should have a heart attack. Is that the truth? And that's what I want to ask us the question. We believe so easily. As society, we become so emotionally fragile that we believe everything that comes to us without putting in a little logic. Is everyone in the gym dying? Is everyone who takes a protein shake having kidney problems? The answer is no. There's a right way of doing it and there's a wrong way of doing it. Let's get back to pre-diabetes and diabetes. The more lean muscle you have, the higher metabolic rate you have. The more muscle you carry, the uptake of glucose from your blood. Because you have more mitochondria in your muscle, there is more uptake of glucose. Mitochondria creates energy. Adenosine triphosphate, your energy molecules. What is the source? What is the raw material? Oxygen, glucose from the blood, nutrients from your food. If you're carrying more muscle, I'm not talking buff muscle, lean muscle, you constantly have an uptake of glucose. Constantly. So your weight training and resistance training, or your body weight training. You see, when people say, Luke, talk about exercise, I have nothing to preach to you. No one can preach to you about exercise, but what I can tell you is let's look at it differently. What does the human body need? Forget about what Luke and other people think you need for it. What does the human body need? Always ask yourself. The human body needs flexibility. It needs mobility. It needs stamina. It needs strength. It needs cardiovascular, VO2 max, and lung capacity. You're going to need this now. You're going to need this when you're 90 years old. Now, how do you design a workout program that gives your body everything it needs? So is yoga alone enough? No. Is walking and yoga a great combination? Absolutely yes. Can I throw in a couple of squats? Can I throw in a couple of push-ups that trains every muscle in your body? That's it. It's as simple as that. And then you need discipline and consistency to continue. These are the most important body weight exercises. Everyone should know how to squat with your body weight. That's what you're going to need when you're old. You know, that's why squatting today is related scientifically with longevity. Squatting and your grip strength. The moment your grip strength starts to reduce, your brain gets a message. This person is not able-bodied anymore. And everything, all your functions in your body start to resonate with what message goes to the brain. That's why there's a saying, what you don't use, you lose. This is exercise, quality sleep, cellular health. Your sleep impacts cellular health. Trillions of cells in the human body. Why do we need cellular health? Contributes to better organ function. What is the organ part of the body that plays a huge role in diabetes? The pancreas, right? Made up of cells. If I have a cellular metabolic problem, I have a problem with insulin. Cellular is everything. What is happening in our cells right now? What is the link between sleep? Let's just quickly get into this. When you sleep, it facilitates DNA repair. Protein synthesis. You're taking protein shakes but not sleeping well at night? Useless. Cell rejuvenation. The release of growth hormone and melatonin. One of the most studied hormones today for immunity, cancer, cognitive brain disorder, sleep. Then you have your circadian rhythms, your sleep and wake cycles, and your regular sleep patterns. Now, what I want to spend time on today is getting into what happens in sleep, because each of you will understand why you should be inspired to sleep well. We have non-REM cycles, which is your non-rapid eye movement. We're about 75 to 80% of that when we sleep at night. What happens in N1? That's non-REM 1. It's a light transition stage. We start to relax our body. In N2, which is 50% of our sleep time, this is critical for memory consolidation, regulating body temperature, heart rate, and blood pressure. So if I don't sleep enough in N2, I'm going to have these problems. What is an N3? Your deepest, slow wave sleep. What happens over here? Physical restoration, repair, immune system rejuvenate, and hormone release. If you skip this step of sleep, what's disturbed? You wake up inadequate. Your body is not equipped. You can take shots of this and study it later. Let's move straight to rapid eye movement, REM sleep. When we're in REM sleep, our body is actually paralyzed. Why? Because it doesn't want us to act out our dreams. If I have a dream of running on the beach, that's when my body paralyzes me in REM sleep. What happens over here? Neuronal growth, repair, and regeneration. If I'm a cancer patient, I'm on drugs. I'm a diabetic, I'm on drugs. I'm a heart patient, I'm on drugs. Fine, it's treating my symptom. Where is the restoration and regeneration of tissue happening? Why do I sleep? Your drug is not doing that for you. So in REM, I have growth, repair, regeneration, the regulation of cortisol and growth hormone, my mental health, cognitive function, and emotional regulation. So you have multiple non-REM and REM cycles throughout the night. A complete cycle is for optimal rest, rejuvenation, and cellular health. Right now, it is non-debatable that this is your foundation. But yet, when we're looking at pre-diabetes in our country, is it not now important that we address sleep as a foundation? Otherwise, medicine has this limitation, and so does nutrition. We have the circadian misalignment. Today I sleep at 10 o'clock, tomorrow I sleep at 11, then I sleep at 3 in the morning. I have a circadian misalignment. My melatonin controls all of that. When my melatonin falls in the morning because I wake up, my cortisol goes up. If that cycle is dysregulated, what do you think I'm going to have a problem with? My IFG. I'm going to have a problem with my tolerance in the morning. So less restorative slow sleep will give you high blood sugar levels, insomnia, and next day fatigue. Now you woke up tired, what do you think your brain's going to crave? Nuts, seeds are a carbohydrate for quick energy, right? Leptin and ghrelin. Sleep deprivation will decrease leptin, which is a hormone that helps you feel full, and increase ghrelin, all of you already know that, which will make you constantly hungry. When you're sleep deprived, you will always eat more of the wrong foods. Maintain darker surroundings so you produce melatonin. Switch off your gadgets 30 minutes before bed. Consistent wake and sleep time. At least weekends keep it free for you. Avoid late night snacking and heavy meals. Very, very important for you to understand that. Breathing techniques. 478 is one. Left nostril breathing is one of the most powerful ways to calm down. You cannot sleep if you're in the sympathetic nervous system. You cannot digest if you're in the sympathetic nervous system. We need to be in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. How do I get there? All of these methods and simple breathing. Right now, if everyone slows down their inhale and makes their exhale longer than the inhale, you are immediately moved into the parasympathetic nervous system, no matter what stress you may have in your life. Because your conscious mind perceives stress, but inside of you, everything is controlled by hormones. Okay, this is the importance of sleep. Some people need 7 hours, some 8, some 9. It is the quality of sleep over the quantity of sleep. Remember, the quality. What determines the quality? My REM cycles and my non-REM cycles. Let's get straight into emotional wellness. What does stress levels have to do with prediabetes and diabetes? Everything. Chronic stress will lower insulin, which will lead to high blood pressure. Now this is stuff I don't have on the slide. You may want to make notes of this. Everyone knows what the HPA axis? Yes. Okay. What does the HPA axis stand for? Hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal. All interconnected. The hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the adrenal glands. Now when I get stressed, let's say an example, I hear some bad news right now. Okay? I'm stressed out. The hypothalamus will release a hormone called CRH. Write this down. I want everyone to study. CRH. CRH will move to the pituitary gland and activate ACTH, another hormone, which will now talk to your thyroid gland, which is why most people who have thyroid problems have immense stress in their life. Okay? Thyroxine will come into control. Okay? Now, ACTH will also activate my adrenal glands, the glands sitting on my kidney, to generate cortisol and adrenaline. The moment this happens, let's come specifically to diabetes. Glucagon is going to be emitted in the body. What is the job of glucagon? To stimulate the liver to release glucose into the blood. Okay, it doesn't end there. Okay? Remember, cortisol has gone up and adrenaline has gone up. What does that do to cells? It makes them insulin insensitive because the body doesn't want your cells to absorb insulin. It wants glucose in your blood for energy because you're in the sympathetic nervous system. You're stressed. So you see how we've created a foundation of pre-diabetes. And if this is, don't get me wrong, we're resilient. We can have a lot of stress, but when it becomes chronic stress, you wake up with stress. You're stressed out throughout the day. Your mind is only thinking of negative, building problems. You're in this mode. Your HPA axis works this way. And then we have the whole gut-brain axis, which Doctor taught us yesterday. What's happening in the brain affects the gut. What's happening in the gut affects the brain. Because of the HPA axis. It's a two-way axis. So this stress that you say, oh, look like life has stress, what do? Do something about it. That's your personal responsibility. It's not an excuse. Do something about it because this is what's happening in your body. Now, can medicine solve this problem alone? Can nutrition solve this problem? Or when we fragment all of these things together, all of these things together. So we prescribe medicine, we prescribe nutrition. Are we also looking at exercise? Are we also looking at equipping people with emotional wellness tools to overcome anxiety, to relax, to spend more time in the parasympathetic nervous system? You have yoga, you have breathing, the right friends, getting a hobby, your spiritual part, prayer. All of these things are our techniques. We know them. We all know them. But we choose to become victims of stress. What's happening in your body? Always remember this. When I'm eating something, what's happening in my body? When I'm thinking something, what is also happening in my body? I want to talk about a UK lifestyle flow that we have for all of our patients. We focus more on the bigger block over there. So wake up in the morning, start your day, have a great morning ritual, gratitude, yoga, whatever it is. Start your day on the right note. You don't start your day looking at Instagram, who's better than you, who went on a holiday, who has a better body, because guess what? You're going to feel inadequate. Okay? HPA axis. You don't want to dump CRH in the morning to your pituitary gland. You want hormones that are different to be regulated in your body. Okay? Focus on this. Before your meal, it's an Indian culture. It's a culture around the world. Bless your food. If you don't pray, just be grateful for the food you have. It changes your energy automatically. Number 2, try this. Okay? If you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, okay? I mean, this works for thousands of our patients across the world. And like I said, check out the work of Dr. Lee Williams, the scientific research. He's the father of angiogenesis at Harvard. And check out this research on apple cider vinegar. Yes, I know the internet messed it up. ACV helps you burn fat. No, it does not. ACV is not your quick fix weight loss tool. But ACV will improve your glucose intolerance and your uptake into your muscle, which in turn will help you have better control over your weight. 30 minutes before your meal, 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with the mother culture or jamun vinegar mixed with a glass of water. Then you start your meal. How do I eat? There is a rhythm. And this is how it becomes practical. Your patient could be on a flight, could be at a conference, in a hotel, but there is a flow. I may not have control over the food I have in front of me, but how I eat it. What am I going to eat first? I am first going to eat the raws. You don't have to have a fancy salad. It could be a simple traditional Indian salad, a plate with cut cucumber, carrot, onion, and green chili. The raw first. What happens when I eat raw? Okay, I start to produce an intestinal mucosal gel, which lines my system. You understand why? Okay, then I eat my cooked vegetables. I get some fiber in and more of the mucosal gel. Then I have my proteins and my fat. And lastly, I eat my carbs. So now there is not going to be a sugar dump. But if I start off with a carb first, I don't have the benefit of the mucosal gel, which means there's going to be a sugar dump and an immediate spike in my levels. And that's why I look at our traditional Indian cuisine, not the way we're eating today. Look at the thali. What do you eat first? Go around the thali based on Indian wisdom. It's not the way we eat today. Now you may say, but Luke, I have a khichdi. How do I separate the protein and fat? That's okay. That's what you eat last. You still have your protein, your paneer before, your chicken or your fish. Follow this flow, and you will see a direct impact in your post-glucose level. Now, connecting the ACV with the 10-minute walk after your meal. When you finish your meal, get into a habit of walking 5 to 10 minutes. Not a brisk walk, a slow walk. Why? When I walk, I stimulate muscle. When I stimulate muscle, I'm going to have a glucose uptake that has been facilitated with ACV or jamun vinegar. That's why traditional cuisine around the world uses vinegar as a very powerful ingredient. And yesterday we learned about fermented foods. The power of fermented foods, which is huge in Indian culture. But how many of you have fermented food every day? Put your hands up. Exactly. Exactly. Very few people. Okay, so we have a big gap when it comes to fixing our gut microbiome. Okay, end your day, sleep with a grateful heart, which you can find out on Instagram. Okay. So human health is never about alternative medicine alone. It's the integration of medicine, science, lifestyle medicine, human behavior. If you don't understand how to gauge human behavior of your patient, you just become someone treating the symptom. A lot of people say, oh, doctors only treat the symptoms, don't do anything else. A lot of nutritionists also do that. Your diet only treats the symptom. Where is the coaching? Where is the help in changing human behavior? So you have lifestyle, you have behavior, and you have the constant desire to unlearn and learn. My secret formula for a thriving lifestyle that has worked for so many people, I'm not here to sell nutraceuticals, I'm here to sell today vitamin K, which is knowledge, which is abundant. And we have vitamin S, which is self-discipline. What am I going to do with that knowledge? How am I going to encourage my patients to encourage self-discipline? Then I have vitamin C, which is consistency. How do I start coaching my patients into consistent action? Like, okay, now we all know fermented food is great. How do I build consistency? How do I take that knowledge and put it into my diet plan? And the last one is action, action, action. The one word that is the cause of most problems in life today, the lack of action. It's way beyond just food and medicine. Now, if you go back, I'm going to tell you, of course, right now, if you have anyone who has diabetes or pre-diabetes, anyone, I'm going to give you a very, very simple formula of what they need to do. You've understood you're going to help them with their sleep. You're going to get the right exercise, not the Indian exercise. 50 minutes on a treadmill every single day and my exercise is done. No, I want to build muscle. Drop the cardio to 20 minutes and put 20 minutes in challenging muscle. I can use resistance bands. I can use my body weight. I don't have to step out of my room to build muscle. I can do more advanced yoga that will challenge muscle and build lean mass as well. So you're going to fix sleep, you're going to fix exercise, nutrition, you're already experts. But what's going to work for them is the flow that I just showed you. I can guarantee you, put all of this together with that early meal, try to bring them down. Some people who really want to change their health will eat at sunset. They will automatically have a 12-hour fast. I have a whole other subject on fasting. You don't have time for that. But even 12 hours of fasting is sufficient to bring down blood glucose levels and a whole load of other problems. It's not because Lucas designed 12 hours. Like, who designed 16 hours? Who? Who put you in a box for 16/8? Why not 15? Why not 18? You don't question this. You look at the West. I'm not against the West. I learn a lot from the West. But don't forget to learn from your own country as well. The tradition that we have, the science that we have, the wisdom that we have, the simplicity that we have is enough for us to start the process of reversal. So if you know anyone diabetic or pre-diabetic with all of this in there, ACV or jamun vinegar before. Even if they don't have that, that's okay. Maybe they're allergic to vinegar. But get them to eat the way. Raws, veggies, protein, fat, and last is the carb. When people start to do this, you know what feedback I get? Luke, I need to reach the carb. I was full. Automatically, without telling someone you got to go low carb, you create the experience in their body by changing the way they eat. Most people are like, I don't even want a carb. I'm not even hungry at this point. Right? This is how it works. Yesterday we spoke about carbohydrate and fat. Every food lobby knows that. If you combine carbohydrate and fat, dopamine, neuroexcitement, and that's how you make food addictive. Carbohydrate and fat. Is there anything wrong with our samosa and bread? No. It's been there for years and years. It's you eating it and having a sedentary lifestyle. It's you eating it and the rest of your meals are crap. They're not providing nutrition to the human body. How much time do I have left? Done? Yeah, okay, great. So that's exactly what the whole purpose of lifestyle is. I know it's pre-diabetes and diabetes. You follow this. And I know we have researchers in the audience today, scientists. I'm not that. I'm not close to that. But I open up the opportunity if anyone ever wants to come and take our data of thousands of patients and put a paper on exactly what we're saying, you're more than welcome because it works. Now all you need to do is put it into action, self-realization, and see how it works. The beauty is everything I spoke about today is the foundation block for cancer, Alzheimer's, cardiac arrest, and everything else. The only difference being, we have to manage the side effects of medication very, very differently. Thank you everyone for your time and time.